Hello and welcome to Mystery Explorer. My name is Sean and I'm here with Andrew.
Hello, sir.
And we're going to talk about ghost stories tonight. Campfire tales, if
I
you
met
will.
this stranger in my travels. Many a tale he has to tell.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, sit around. Sit around and share a brief repast and a tale or two. And this could be ghost stories you've heard. It doesn't have to be something that happened to you. Like, it's pretty
You
loose.
ever about the killer at the campground?
Yeah, did you ever hear about the Phantom of the Podcast Studio?
Yeah. You ever heard about the curse of the Black Pearl? It's like, what?
Yeah, that's a good one.
There's this pirate one time, okay? And then he...
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No, he wasn't a pirate. It was a different pirate, but...
Removed from the fire circle. No.
Yeah.
Not good enough. Yeah. But we have had... I've got a couple of halfway decent personal ghost stories, and then some of the stuff I've probably heard along the way. And then we can get into some of this stuff.
But yeah, that was the whole idea tonight, is to tell our sort of paranormal biography.
Yeah, to start out with. Yeah, we got some fun stuff. Put the cards on the table, as it were.
Right. So, I'll let you go first. You can hit it out of the park with a big bang, see what you...
I guess I can tell, yeah, we're not going to tell them in order of importance, and I'm trying to watch how mood lighting I get.
How dramatic you can be.
Yeah, I'm going to try to use it to my advantage, because there is a sort of sinister cast when I put my fingers together.
Yeah.
But this is a story that happened when I was a kid in Biloxi, Mississippi. And we lived in a house back then that's not, my dad used to say, this house was laid out a lot like that house. Like, okay, but that doesn't bring me a lot of comfort, because that house had a ghost in it. And I was probably maybe 7 or 8 years old at this point. So the credibility can be taken based on that. Like what, but as a kid, like I was fully convinced of this. Like, I saw an old lady ghost in our house.
So you saw this, like, full on?
Yeah, as a kid. Yeah, I saw this as a small child, and it was a lady. It was an old, skinny lady dressed in rags.
Oh, that's not horrifying at all.
It was very weird, yeah, because she was pretty solemn looking. Like, I remember, because she looked in my direction. Mm-hmm. But she was wearing kind of just sort of tattered, like, white rags. Like, maybe it was a white dress at one point, but was all, like, beaten up. And she was walking down the hall outside my room, and then she kept walking past where the wall was. Mm-hmm. And just kept walking.
Right.
And when I was a kid, obviously I was freaked out by that, but I was pretty much had resigned myself to the idea, I must have dreamed that. Mm-hmm. I was in my bedroom, I was asleep, and I saw this old lady just walk down the hall. I probably just dreamed it. But I actually did see her again later on, and I wasn't asleep. I was in the bathroom. Mm. And she walked by the bathroom and kind of gave me a stink eye sort of look.
She looked at you.
Like she was, like, in my mind as a kid, like she was mad that I didn't believe it, kind of thing.
Right.
So those were my stories as a kid. And here's what I love about this. I had to be like 7 or 8 years old. Right. So like I'm saying, like you gotta, at my age, I don't remember this happening. I remember this story. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like something happened so long ago, you remember the repetition of the story more than you remember the event. But at the time, I believed that I had seen this, and this was the story. And we lived in a subdivision, but behind our backyard, like there was like a little wire fence at the end of our backyard, and on the other side there wasn't another subdivision or anything. There was just a field where a lady had like a farm, and there were goats and things there. Like, so it was like at once a very rural area that was being sort of overtaken into more of a suburban kind of environment. Mm-hmm. And my mom talked to the lady who owned that property, and she said, this is what makes a good ghost story, because she said, was there ever an old lady that lived in our house? And that lady was like, no. But before this subdivision was built, there was an old house there. And there was an old lady that lived in there. And she died. And when she died, they tore down the house and they built that subdivision. And her house was right about where your house is now. Like that's like
old bones.
Yeah, no legit like research beyond that was going, because what are you gonna do at that point? Like, that's the story. We like that story the way it is. So we were all like, okay, well that happened then. That's for real. That was a real old lady ghost from that old house.
Did anybody in your family see it?
No one but me. So it was just me those 2 times. So like I said, you can take that story with a grain of salt for a lot of reasons, because I was a little kid, my brain wasn't fully formed. At least one time I was convinced that I was asleep and dreaming, and my only recollection of it at this point as an adult is of the repetition of the story after the fact.
Well, you just have a brother?
I do just have a brother.
Are you the youngest?
Yes, he's 2
So
years
you were like the
older
young
than me.
kid when this happened. Okay. Trying to paint the picture. And you told them about this at the time, your parents and your brother?
Yeah. Now, my
What did they
brother,
do?
as I recall, my brother did not see that, but I swear that my brother had a story where he said he saw some kind of apparition in my parents' room. And he described it as looking like a Jawa, like a little, like,
Oh my God.
like a tiny little thing.
I don't like that at all.
But I can't speak much to that story because I don't remember much except from the time of him saying that. He hasn't really said anything about that, like, as an adult. But I do remember that being part of the story and thinking that was creepy, like a little tiny road man. Maybe that's where my tiny man fear comes from. Like, I don't like the idea of a tiny man just running out from something.
Yeah, that's
to this day. I don't like.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was aliens and tiny men. But I guess aliens are tiny men because that comes from.
Sure.
Yeah, and I was a kid. My daughter now, she's 10. She does the same thing where she'll, like, I would get so freaked out and have overactive imagination at the time, or at all the time. But I was like an addict for like ghost stories and like that. You know, I was a kid when that scary stories and telling dark books came. You know, I would like eat it up, and then I'd like, Mom, can I sleep on your floor and like a pallet? Like, I would freak it was like I was a weird like. I'm like that now too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
we'd see like Salem's Lot on TV and think it was super scary, and then we'd be freaked out forever because there's a couple of good bits from that movie.
But I know other people that are like adults now that like they don't like scary stuff, but they're like, well, yeah, it scared me when I was kids, so I just didn't watch it. I was like, how could you not? Like I consumed everything I could for some dumb reason. I mean, I used to watch Unsolved Mysteries and scare the hell out of me. That's when I can remember. That's how formative this isn't really the ghost stories, but I guess it's paranormal, the alien stuff. That's when I remember seeing Unsolved Mysteries. Like I think it was about Roswell. Like it's like the most unscary story. That combined, then my mom let me watch that Communion movie.
And that's a weird one too. That movie's weird, especially if you're a kid.
Out of me when I was a kid.
And everybody said that was true. That's the time where like Whitley Strieber was putting that stuff out and saying it really happened.
He still says it really happened, right?
I mean, that's his. But don't want to take a paycheck away from him. But
we got conventions to go to.
Yeah, he's writing fiction until that didn't work out, and he started writing nonfiction. You know, suddenly he was selling bestsellers.
Yeah, well, it's like L. Ron Hubbard or whatever. It's like once you get one good one, that's what you become. It's like
so. Of the two, I'm gonna green light Strieber. It's like you're the least destructive.